Welcome to the Garments Engage Crochet podcast, where I chat about crochet garments and other yarny things. I am Michelle Ferguson, crochet pattern designer of Two Brothers Blankets. You can find me at twobrothersblankets.com, on Facebook and Instagram at Two Brothers Blankets, and right here on YouTube every week for this crochet podcast. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button, and if you like what you see, click the bell as well so you'll get notifications every time I upload a new video. So here we are, 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for being a part of this. We started back in March and it's just been so fun. It's been a whole new adventure for me, right in the middle of a huge life change as well. But it's been great. It's been almost like an outlet for me to do this, plan this each week, and then just chat with you guys. It's so fun. I love seeing your comments and your thoughts and your own tips and tricks every week in the comment section. And I'm just so thankful that you are here. So we are doing a giveaway. One lucky subscriber of this channel will win 5 digital PDF patterns of choice from my shop. How this is going to work is, so a little more about the prize. If you are chosen to be the winner, you can choose 5 of my patterns. You can look at them on Ravelry or Etsy, any of my patterns, single individual patterns only, but you can choose 5. I will send the PDF to you via email or Ravelry, to your Ravelry library. And then you will be responsible for looking at them on your device or printing them out yourself. This will be a digital download PDF sent to you, but you can choose 5 and you can choose any 5, and I will email or send it to your Ravelry library, whichever you prefer. So that's whoever wins. This giveaway is open worldwide. This giveaway is not affiliated with or sponsored by or anything to do with YouTube itself. I want to make sure I follow all the rules. How to enter. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. I'm going to draw from one of our subscribers. And then I just want you to leave me a comment down below. And I want you to tell me what your favorite episode has been between the 2 seasons of the podcast, or what you would love to see me talk about or review, or interview someone you'd like me to interview, or anything you'd love to see on a future episode. So that's all you have to do. You have to comment below and make sure you're subscribed. You can do this up until August 1st. I will be on vacation next week, so I will not be doing any drawing of giveaway winners next week. I'll be back the 30th, something like that, and I will draw a winner on the 1st. The winner will be drawn at random. I will likely put the number of comments into like a random number generator and pick the comment. I will then comment on that person's comment below it, reply to it to let them know. I will also announce it in the next video that I film and post it in the community as well. I just got a community page on YouTube for getting to 1,000 subscribers. So that's that there too. Be sure to check that out. I'll post the winner for that too. So all you gotta do is comment. Comment below what your favorite episode has been, or something you would like to see in a future episode. And on August 1st, I will draw one winner to win 5 free digital crochet patterns of choice from my shop. Sound good? I hope so. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna be on vacation next week, so no podcast episode. I really went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to have an episode published. I do film ahead, like about a week ahead of time, and I decided that no, I really just need this to be like full on vacation, because even though I could film it early and edit it early and have it ready and just have to hit publish, I would have to market it and all this and that too, like post about it on my email and all that. So I've decided no, there will be no episode next week. I really just want to enjoy my vacation unplug for a little bit and not worry about the business at all, really. So I'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Just so you know, this would be a great time for you to catch up on some old episodes if you missed any. Yeah, that would be a good one. Good time to do that. Binge it or something. I don't know. That sounds really weird to think of someone binging my podcast episodes. But hey, if you want to catch up, that would be great. What else? I don't think there's too much else. By the time I get back, we'll be into August. We'll be getting ready to start school here, start our homeschool, and all the fall stuff. So be prepared for that. Are you guys starting fall makes yet? Craft fair stuff? Fall festivals? I don't know. I don't know what's going on these days. Or getting ready to have inventory for your Etsy shop, whatever. Let me know if you are starting your fall makes or if you're still on summer. Okay, I'm really excited because we have another guest designer interview today. I interviewed Kristine Mullen of Ambassador Crochet. Kristine is a jack of all trades. She's a crochet pattern designer and she's been doing it for way longer than I have. She's a homeschool mama, just like me. She is my tech editor, so she tech edits. She tech edits for independent designers like me, as well as bigger companies like yarn companies and other bigger companies that sell and put out patterns. So she does it all. She's amazing. She runs, I can't remember if she runs like marathons or just, runs for fun, but she runs. She's amazing. She does it all. She's also very good at Tunisian crochet. So I interviewed her about Tunisian crochet, specifically Tunisian garments, because honestly, I can barely do Tunisian crochet, and I can't even imagine, before this interview, I couldn't even picture how a Tunisian garment would be assembled or worked up or anything. So she helped me understand it. She gave me some tips. She's got some really good advice and just helped me understand Tunisian crochet a lot better. So without further ado, here is that interview. Hey everyone, I am so excited to have Kristine from Ambassador Crochet on the podcast with me today. Hi, Kristine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Okay, Kristine is really amazing. She does garment design. She's a designer. She's a tech editor. She has tech edited for me. And some of her most recent designs are Tunisian. So I brought her on here to talk to us about Tunisian crochet, specifically Tunisian garments. But first, Kristine, will you please tell us about yourself, about your business, how you get started, all that?
I actually started designing back in 2007, which seems so long ago. Because it started because I couldn't find a pattern that I liked and I knew what I wanted and I couldn't find it. So I just decided to make my own after weeks of searching, and I fell in love with designing. And over the years, I kind of have wondered why, because I don't consider myself a crafty person. So, I think it goes back to the tech editing. I love math. I love problem solving. I love those kind of things. So I think that's what draws me to the designing part of it.
Right.
So yeah, I've kind of evolved over the years.
So how many patterns do you have total?
200?
Yeah.
Maybe,
I think I just hit 200 too.
Yeah, and
I was
been
crazy
doing it less, so you're way ahead of me.
Well, I was a little overboard at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now I'm like lucky if I do one a month.
I think it's about 200. I do have some that I had originally done on my blog as free that I didn't count in my original list. So I don't have like a really good
accurate
black and white list, but I think it's about 200. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Okay, so how did you get into Tunisian crochet and specifically Tunisian garments?
I love the look of knitting, but I don't know how to knit. I'll admit I don't have any idea how to knit. And I love the staple stitches of knitting, the knit stitch, the purl stitch. Like I feel like they're used in everything and they're so nice looking on garments. So I kind of evolved into, well, let's try this. And it it's like, well, if you know how to crochet, I feel like it's easier to pick up Tunisian than it is to learn how to knit
Right.
if you're already a crocheter. So once I learned Tunisian, it was like, now I don't need to know how to knit because I can make it look the same.
Awesome. Um, was there a specific obstacle or hurdle or learning curve with doing garments? Like, how did you how'd you figure that out?
So I think garments are a hurdle for people in general. It's a huge difference than making a square, whether it's a blanket or a scarf. So I think shaping is a hurdle no matter what you're doing. As far as Tunisian, it's different when you have to add stitches, drop, lose stitches. Those increases and decreases are very different with Tunisian. So I think that was part of the learning curve. And the other part is it's very different. Your gauge is very different. Especially for me, I tend to be a pencil holder for like my regular crochet hooks, but Tunisian, you have to hold it over. You have to hold it. I don't
Nice
have one in front
hold,
of me. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but you have to do that overhand hold. So it changes, especially for me, it changes my gauge a lot. So I have to go up, like if a yarn recommended like a G hook, I would probably have to go up to an I, maybe even a J, depending on the stitch I'm doing. Otherwise, it's very tight. It doesn't have a lot of good drape to it. So I think that's a learning curve in Tunisian in general, is learning the difference in your gauge and knowing that it's okay if you have to go up a hook size. It'll make the garment or anything you're doing lay better. The drape will be better. So
Okay, so I am completely clueless about Tunisian garments. I know a little Tunisian, I'm extremely slow at it. But what is the like main construction of a Tunisian sweater, let's say? Like how would you construct it?
I have two ways. I always try to do my garments as easy as possible for people, like that. Well, anything, but in general, I try to do bottom up because for somebody learning Tunisian in the round is very different. So if you can do flat, if you can do panels, it's
Yeah.
a lot easier for somebody. So I've done like back and front panels and then added sleeves. I've also done from the top up, and then you create those panels from that bottom that goes all the way around.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So if you created it all the way around as almost like a long panel, then you could do the right front panel, the back panel, and the left front panel and leave the armholes open. I've done it that way as well. And then you seam the shoulders.
So Tunisian is that a thing? Tunisian in the round?
Yes, it is
See,
actually.
I know nothing.
It's a lot harder because you need a double-ended hook because
Okay.
you can't really go all the way around or it won't join. So
Right.
you have to work about a third of it, and then Tunisian doesn't turn.
Right.
Okay, so it's
You gotta go
one-sided.
back.
So the panels, so that's the difference between that and knitting, is your sides won't look the same. Your front and back won't look the same
Okay. Yeah.
in Tunisian. And so you put all the loops on the hook and you take them all off in a flat panel in so they call it a forward pass and a return pass if you're doing it flat. If you're doing it in the round, you can't go all the way around. Even with a cable hook, it just doesn't work. So you
Okay.
have to do as far as you can, and then you have to actually turn, which isn't normal in Tunisian. And so you need a double-ended hook to work them back off going
Oh,
the other way. So it looks the same, but you're not going one way and coming back the other way. You're actually going one way and then you're turning the whole thing and going back.
I see.
It's not
Wow.
as hard as
Okay.
it sounds. It's easier
So
visually.
if you're a beginner Tunisian crocheter and you want to make a garment, panels.
Panels, definitely panels. Yes,
And
much
then you sew them
easier.
together just like you would regular crochet panels, like the sides and then leave the armholes open and all that. Cool.
that doesn't sound like I could probably manage that. Just
Could do
doing
that,
a
definitely.
simple
You could
Tunisian
definitely do that.
stitch, make some rectangles. I could
Yep.
probably. Now, what about sleeves? Do you do the sleeves in panels and then sew them together, or do you do those in the round?
I do. I usually do panels, but it depends on how much decrease I want. If I want, you know, it's easier to decrease. So if you had a square, it's easier to decrease on those first couple stitches so that it looks more natural. So what I've done in the past is gone around the armhole, attached it to the panel of the sweater, gone around the armhole and just not joined it. So it's really like you're working it flat, even though it's attached. And then you just seam the underarm when you're done. I've done that. That's pretty easy for people.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm working on something not Tunisian, but that is worked all in pieces, including the sleeves. And I've actually never done it like that. Like with
And then, yeah,
do the mattress stitch to keep it like as seamless looking as possible. Is that what you do to? Because I've never, you know what I mean, like seaming every other arm. How do you join?
So the last one I just did, I think it depends on the stitch you're using. The last one I just did, believe it or not, a whip stitch looked more natural of a seam.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I will use a mattress stitch because I feel like the mattress stitch is seamless for the most part.
It shows less usually most of the time. But like you said, that's the point. It depends on the stitch you're using for the crochet stitch. Okay. So what tips or tricks or hacks would you give someone who wants to try a Tunisian garment for the first time?
Panels. Definitely panels.
We established that one.
I would also suggest, I suggest this for any garment, and I know a lot of people skip over it, but the swatch. Do the swatch.
Especially since you said your tension's different.
Your tension's very different, yeah. Curling on a Tunisian stitch, most Tunisian stitches will curl. So your panel will, the first 5-10 rows will actually start to curl. That's normal. But it's learning how much curl is normal and how much curl is not normal, and you should go up a hook size, you know. So that's why I say if you do that gauge swatch, you can measure your stitches and make sure it's at least the way the designer had it worked. As far as the curl, a lot of designers will put a border on it, and that will get rid of that curl along the beginning few rows, usually, or you can block it.
So
but it is normal. That's normal. That's a learning curve. Like people see that and they're like, there's something wrong. It's not. It's just the way it is. Another tip is a lot of people, their first 3 or 4 stitches will look bigger. They'll be more stretched out because of the way you hold it, or I have a little tip hack, and I hope I explain it properly without a visual, but take your first stitch off the hook and put a stitch marker there, and then just pick up your stitches starting in the second stitch and work across. And when you come back, put that last stitch back on the hook, and it will alleviate that growing corner. It really works. I do it all the time. Even when I don't explain it, I do it for visual, because I tend to be one of those people that that 1-inch corner in the bottom right of my project is always stretched out because of the way I hold my hook.
I remember that when I worked on Tunisian. And it seemed like the 2 sides always look a little bit different, like the 2 edges. You know what I mean?
Other hack is that last edge, your very last stitch, instead of working it like you do the rest of the row, you actually go through the front and the back stitch. The front and the back of the vertical bar. So on a normal, like if you were doing a knit stitch, you would just go through that front vertical bar.
Push it
on
through.
The very last stitch, you go through both the front and the back, and then you pull up your loop, and it will create the same look as the other side.
Oh my goodness. Awesome.
It'll have a border, so you don't have to.
I wondered. I was like, "There's got to be, there's got to be something to make it."
Sometimes it's those little things that nobody tells you.
I know.
There's a difference.
That's why you're here. You're the Tunisian queen. Awesome. That I'm gonna have to try that soon. That kind of stuff is where I was like, nope, I cannot do this because
No, you can do it.
this is not looking the same. What is I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was because I was left-handed or what. So that's awesome. Okay. What is your favorite design? Tunisian and non-Tunisian. Let's do two designs.
Oh, I
that
can
you've
do
designed.
anything?
Yeah. Well, name one Tunisian. How many Tunisians do you have? Do you have more than one, right? You have a couple.
Oh, yeah.
Like that are actual designs, patterns out
I
there.
don't know, 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8.
So tell
I
me
don't know.
what your favorite Tunisian one and your favorite
My
non-Tunisian.
favorite, can I do 2 favorite Tunisian?
Sure. Sure.
I have a Tunisian blanket that I made for my daughter. And it's easy if you're a beginner because it's a basic stitch. It's a basic, it's a blanket. It doesn't change stitches. She's not a sleeper. She used to sleep 4 to 5 hours a night and she's always cold. So I held 2 strands of number 6. I believe it was number 6. It might've been number 5 yarn together. It was like super bulky. I got like a 25-inch Tunisian hook, 25 millimeter, I mean, and I made it, and without even realizing what I had done, it was like a weighted blanket, and now
Wow,
she
yeah.
sleeps like 8 hours a night.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I was like, this is amazing. Like I had no idea. I was doing it to keep her warm, but
right.
it
But
helps her sleep. Yeah.
So cool. What's it called?
My vineyard throw.
Vineyard throw. Okay. What's the other one?
The other one is I have a Tunisian pullover.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's my favorite because it was really my first Tunisian garment.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that. I did it,
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
What's it called? Did you say
snowbird pullover.
Snowbird pullover. Okay. I'm gonna have to look at those. I need to. And is it panels?
It's front back panel. Yep.
I wanted to give it a
Yep.
try. Cool. And then what about non-Tunisian?
Non-Tunisian, I have this thing for my American flag blanket.
I love that blanket.
I put so much time and effort into that I don't know that anything would ever like vote out that as my favorite. That was like my heart and soul for months. I did nothing else. So that, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of your best sellers too, isn't it?
It's my best seller. And it had, I know I've said this in the past, but I put like 40 or 50 hours of design time into it. Like it matches. So I took American flag schematics and which they don't give you measurements. They just give you percentages. For anybody that hates math, they'll be lost in this. But like if one stripe was considered 1, then the stars are 0.8 and the blue around them is 0.3, and like it's like 0.3 of the 1 inch, and it took me a long time. But I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right, because there's American flags out there with 6 pointed stars, and there's flags out there that are, the granny, which is fine. It's just not what I wanted. And anybody that's into shapes and everything, you can't do 5-sided pieces and put them together. It doesn't, shape-wise, it doesn't work. That's why everybody does the 6-sided star, because 6 sides fit together. So I actually took the stars and I made them into diamonds with the blue so that they would all fit together. And I did it proportionately correct. So that was like my masterpiece, if I could call it that. Like,
wow. Awesome. And I will link Kristine's designs in the description for you guys to check out. She's got some really amazing designs. Well, thank you, Kristine. Will you tell us where we can find you, follow you, your social media?
Everywhere is Ambassador Crochet.
Ambassador Crochet. And you have a website. What's the website?
Yep, it's ambassadorcrochet.com.
Okay. So, and now what's your favorite social? Like, what are you on most? Facebook, Instagram?
I'm on Facebook just because that's where
and you
I
have
started.
a group. She has a really awesome community group on Facebook. What's it called? Ambassador
Crochet Community.
It's really cool. Yeah. She has a lot of she has good engagement in there where she asks questions and gives tips. And don't you do lives in there with tutorials?
I do.
And stuff?
I stopped for a few months.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm picking them.
I get all the
up, so.
notifications, or it shows up on my feed all the time. So I'm like, man, she's so good at that.
Thank you. I'm one of those people that started on Facebook when it was the only
Mhm.
social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've been doing this a
Facebook
while,
is
so-
definitely my biggest, where I have the most, because that's
Yeah.
a long time too. So
Yeah.
yeah, but you're good at the engagement and the like answering questions and all
And
that. So
I love answering questions. I love helping people. Like I feel like that's my thing. Like if I
yeah,
could pick one thing, I would just help people all day long.
yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. You have more patience than me. I can handle it for a little while, and then I'm like, okay, I need to go veg. So anyway, well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for
This was
doing
fun.
this. I know, it's so fun. I've learned about Tunisian. Now I got to go try it again.
You
as
can
if
do
need
it, I
another
promise.
project. So I will put all her info in the description for you guys to go check her out. Be sure to check her out, join her group, and let me know. Have you ever done a Tunisian garment or Tunisian at all? Do you know how to Tunisian crochet? I'd love to know in the comments. Thank you, Kristine.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back. I hope that was helpful to you as it was to me. All these interviews that I'm doing like really inspire and motivate me to try new things, and Tunisian is definitely something I would love to get better at. I can do a few stitches. I'm really, really slow at it, and my tension is terrible. But after talking to her, I definitely want to give it another go. So I hope that inspired you and maybe helped answer some of the questions you might have had about Tunisian crochet. So let's get into what's in my WIP bag. So I finished the commissioned design. It is on my Instagram page. If you have not seen it yet, it's in testing now, and we'll be going to Shandy of Expression Fiber Arts very soon. So I'm so glad it turned out so good. Like I was so pleased with it. So, and I loved working with that yarn. It's amazing. But I'm so glad to be done. Now I am working on a few things to just kind of finish up before I go on vacation and have ready for when I get back. The stroll tweed. I keep showing y'all the ball of yarn and never any WIP. I actually started it and frogged it. I need to make some changes, so there's not much to show there. But I do have the cute, and it doesn't have a label. If you remember last week, I talked about the Junior Challenge from Hobie. This is my progress. Look at this cute little bottom of a baby shirt. This is with their alpaca silk. It turned out to work out really well with the gauge that I met, the hook size that I used to meet gauge, even though I was a little unsure about the weight of it. The website says sport. It just says sport. It doesn't say like the number 2 or anything. And then the label on one of the packaging said 1, like the number 1. So I'm still a little unsure. I need to like check with them, but it worked out really well. I really, really love how it's working up. I don't know, it just has a really nice texture to it and looks really nice. And I think it's going to be super cute once I get that dark green up in the sleeves. I measured my nephew yesterday and he's spot on. He's 14 months, but he's spot on for Craft Yarn Council's 24-month size. So who'd have thunk? But that's another reason, always measure, because you just never know. And he wears like 12 to 18 month regular clothes. So always measure. Anyway, so I'm working on that. And then I pulled out, like I was going through, so long story short, we've got a new entryway table. We had an entryway table that had like a bottom shelf, and I had these cute little wicker baskets that I would put WIPs in, and it would kind of just look like blankets or something in my front entryway. But it was really my WIPs that I was working on. So I had these 2 big wicker baskets full of stuff and nowhere to put the wicker baskets because we got a new entryway table that has drawers rather than just a shelf. So I was going through the WIPs that I had and was like, do I need to get rid of this, frog this, whatever. And I found this and I forgot about it and it's gorgeous and I want to finish it. So this is a sweet tea shawl, the start of a sweet tea shawl in this beautiful yarn I found. I mean, I had a whole skein of it in this basket just sitting there. So this is from my Knit Crate box. I did Knit Crate for about a year or so. And if you don't know what it is, it's a subscription box where you get yarn and a pattern every month. So it's like, there's like a theme and you get get surprised by the color, or you can choose the color, I think. I don't know. I stopped doing it at the end of last year just because I had so much. Like I just had so much and I could not keep up with all the yarn and I didn't need that. But anyways, this is the colorway Undertow. It is a fingering weight yarn. It is 100% merino wool, 417 yards. And it's like a deep, pretty blue, teal blue, I guess, with like dark grayish black speckles, purple maybe, I don't know. It's gorgeous. So, and I got all this and this to make a sweet tea, and it's fingering weight, so it would be perfect for Florida. And I don't know why I didn't finish it. So now I really want to finish it. So that may be a vacation project. I don't know. I don't want to frog it because it's beautiful, and so we'll see. We'll see. I'm not like actively working on it, but I found it and I wanted to show you guys because it's really pretty. So maybe I'll finish it, hopefully. Do you think I should finish it, or should I frog it and make something new? I'm definitely not getting rid of the yarn though, that's for sure. That's gorgeous. All right, so let's get into my brutally honest yarn review. I want to share a new yarn to me that I have never tried before, but I am loving. Okay, so in August, Helen of Sunflower Cottage Crochet hosts a preemie challenge, and it's like a blog hop style challenge, and the designers create a design or have a design for preemies, or that can be made for preemies, and it's free for the day that they choose, the day that they sign up for. And then I think the whole purpose of it is that if you download it, you will donate something to the hospital or someone you know who is a preemie. I need to get more information like on the exact details of it, but I did it last year and I signed up again this year for it. So I'm working on a little baby, or I've been working on a little baby sweater for this preemie challenge blog hop. And so I got some Andean Treasure from WIP Crochet. This is a sport weight yarn. This is the colorway Dogwood Heather. It's a beautiful light pink. It is 100% baby alpaca, which from what I've read, 100% alpaca is great for little babies, new babies, preemies, because it is hypoallergenic, apparently, and really soft. So this is 100% baby alpaca. It says to hand wash and dry flat. I have this color. I don't have the other green. Here's the little tiny sweater. Well, it's a Little Textures baby sweater. I have a Little Textures baby hat, skirt, and pants already on the blog for free. So this little baby sweater, this green was, I think it's Juniper Heather maybe is what it's called. So I made some little tiny sweaters with this yarn, and I have a swatch somewhere. I thought, there it is. I'm not even looking at the camera. Sorry, guys. So I started out with my gauge swatch. I swatched it up, and then I hand washed it and laid it flat to dry. So I'm learning, because this is alpaca too, but it's an alpaca blend with silk, and this is 100% baby alpaca. I'm learning with alpaca, you're gonna get the little like hairy fuzzies. I don't even know if y'all can see that, but you get the little fuzzies no matter what. And when it gets wet, it looks a lot worse than it turns out when it's dry. So because I remember with this one, I was like, oh no, that's not cute. That's ruined. It's not gonna look good. When I wet it, to check the gauge swatch and how it blocked out. And it happened again with this. It was like all fuzzy looking and hairy looking, and ugh. So I was like, oh boy. But I kind of had remembered that the other one dried very nicely. So I just waited until it dried, and it turned out really good. Like with the alpaca, you are going to get these little stringies all throughout a little bit, but it's not bad. So it held its shape. It did expand about a 1/2 inch, I believe, after blocking. And it does have those little fuzzies, but otherwise it's pretty strong. Like it held up pretty well. So I'm really loving this. It's really soft. There's some really cute colors. I just love the little rustic look of the colors. I'm currently making my nephew one of these too. In his size. The pattern will go up to 24 months. So it's going to be a baby pattern, but it will be preemie through 24 months. And yeah, I really like it. I've never tried this yarn. It is, I want to say it's like $6, $7. I'm not positive, but I think I remember it being a little on the higher side, but it is that 100% baby alpaca. It's not like a acrylic yarn or something that you wouldn't have to pay as much for, but it's really nice. And if you're one that makes a lot of baby stuff, the alpaca is really nice to work with. So I give this a 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10. The price is a little higher than I don't know. I don't want to, it's not higher than what I would pay for a yarn, but it was a little higher than I expected, I guess. I really like it. It's great for babies, and we'll see how my nephew likes it. I'll be sure to update how my nephew likes it with wearing it. It feels to me like it would be a nice sweater to wear, very soft and comfortable. But so that is my brutally honest yarn review. I hope that this episode was very inspiring to you and motivational. And let me know, do you know Tunisian crochet? Is it something that you consider yourself good at? And have you ever made a Tunisian crochet garment? Don't forget to comment below, and you will be entered to win the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And as long as you're a subscriber and you comment below, you'll be entered. So do that, and I'll see you back in 2 weeks after my vacation. Bye guys.